So we're here for the third segment of the Warriors Heart podcast, sitting down with Michael Odell. Great to have you here, man. Let me give you a quick introduction. We got Michael Odell, Marine Corps veteran, Chief Operating Officer of the Warriors Heart Command Center, public speaker, and motivational coach. Honor to have you here, sir. I appreciate you being here with us today.
Yeah, thanks, man. Number 3, huh?
Number 3, yeah. It's the third one.
All right.
Yeah. So far, we have surpassed, I think, Joe Rogan's podcast for the second week in a row. Don't look into it or anything. Just take my word for it. But we're doing that good.
Can someone fact find that?
No need. We'll just go with that, right? But we're here. It's December 8th today. We're coming up on the Christmas season, on the holidays here. And we wanted to do a little bit of a podcast to give some people some hope, maybe, to try to give them a little bit, right? But we're here talking about our experiences in life. One of the things that sets Warriors Heart apart from other treatment centers is we're not academics. We have lived this life, and we're here talking about your story and your life that brought you through an unbelievable amount of tragedy to come to this place right here today to be able to help other people. So let's jump into it, if you wouldn't mind. Let's get right into it with how it all started for you, right? When the drinking and everything started.
Yeah, man. So like many folks out there, I started drinking at a very young age, and I'll never forget the first drink. I've forgotten many others after that.
Yeah.
But the first one, it felt like that's exactly what I needed. Like I was with a buddy of mine, and he had his first beer. I had my first beer. He hated it, and I loved it. And like beer doesn't taste good.
No.
And so I knew right then and there that something good had happened is what I thought. It's like, oh my gosh, this is what I needed. Because at the time when I was about 14, 15 years old, I was struggling with depression and anger, and home life started kind of, getting a little sideways. And so that was kind of my escape. And I just knew then, it changed the way I felt about myself, in a good way. I needed to feel joy. I needed to feel happy. I needed to feel good about myself, and I didn't until I started drinking, and I started to feel better about myself. And so that kicked everything off in as high of a gear as you can at 15 years old, right?
Right, yeah.
But I couldn't wait until that next drink. It might have been a couple weeks, a month. I don't know, but I was always looking forward to it. Like, man, I can't wait for the next time I'm going to have a chance to change the way I feel, because I'm sick and tired of feeling this way.
The depression, the anxiety, the feeling of isolation, loneliness, you escaped into a bottle, right? And the reason why we're talking about it today is we're coming up on a time that's stressful for a lot of people, being around family, memories, that sort of thing. We talk about holidays supposed to bring joy. You're supposed to have joy every day. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But we think about it a lot during this time of year, and a lot of people want to try to be a part of it. So they end up drinking and participating a little bit too much in that sort of lifestyle during this time of year, right?
Yeah. There's folks out there that are able to do that and not have it destroy their life and who they are. They're able to do that and it not impact their relationships, their work relationships, work environment, kids relationships. Like, they're able to do that and not have negative outcomes. There's people out there, and that's awesome. For people like me, I am not able to do that.
Me neither.
Right? Like that's a fact. I've tried it hundreds of times.
Yeah.
I'm not able to. And so I have to acknowledge that and be okay with that. Like, it doesn't mean I'm crazy. It doesn't mean I'm this, that, or the other. It just means that's not something that I can do. And so if I want to live a good, healthy, happy life full of joy, I can't do that. And there's steps involved in how to not do that. But I just can't. I'm not that person.
Yeah, many of us aren't. People that are in sobriety call those kind of people normies. They're normal people. And there's nothing wrong with being able to enjoy that normally and responsibly. But there are, like you said, those of us who can't, right? And that's normal too. It's human. It's human nature for a lot of us, right?
Yeah.
So the purpose of this particular episode is to kind of talk about what that looks like for the Christmas season, for the holiday season, and to try to help folks find a way through it. But in getting into your background a little bit, so you started drinking at an early age, 14, 15 years old. Did it ramp up quickly? Like you said, it may be a month or two before you could have another drink. So when did it really start to take off for you?
Yeah, I started drinking at a young age, and alcohol changed the way I felt from the first drink. And it started to ramp up when I was in my, late teenage years, 16, 17 years old. I started getting the results of what sometimes takes people a long time in addiction to get. I started getting arrested at a young age. Like the first time I went to jail, I was not even old enough to be in jail.
Oh, wow.
I was 15 years old. I wasn't even old enough to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't, the police officers, the arresting officers didn't believe that I was only 15, brought me to jail, and my parents had to come pick me up. And it was for minor in consumption of alcohol and public intoxication, just a normal substance abuse results. But it started to ramp up when I was around that age. Ramp up so much to the point where by the time I was joining the Marine Corps when I was 19, so from 15 to 19, just a few years, I had already been arrested like 10 times for substance abuse related stuff. And when I joined the Marine Corps, I was on probation. And I remember going down to the recruiter's office, and he was like, "Yeah, you ain't got to worry about that, man. I'll go to court with you. You sign the paper here. Well, you're good to go." And so I was like, okay. So I did that, and the recruiter went to court with me, and the judge expunged my probation or got rid of it with the understanding that I was going to join 4 years active duty in the Marine Corps. It's like,
right,
cool, I'm in. And the reason why I wanted to join is because I have a lot of family, a lot of uncles that served, a few that served in the Marine Corps, and there's just was no other option. If I was going to join the military, it was the Marine Corps. I've got, my dad was in the Coast Guard. My grandpa was a corpsman. He's in Korea. So I got, family in different branches of the service, but there was no question the Marine Corps was the branch that I had to go to.
Yeah.
And so I joined when I was 19. And up until that point, life was already full of chaos. I mean, my mom would be up at night and wouldn't be able to sleep because she's waiting on a phone call from the sheriff's department to let her know either I was in jail or dead.
Yeah.
And she was waiting on calls like that when I was 17 years old, 18 years old, 19 years old. And when I joined the Marine Corps, she finally had a sense of relief, like, okay, he's going away, but he's going away to serve our great country. He is going to be in a structured environment. Yes, he's going to deploy, but he's got a greater chance of dying out on the streets living the way he's living than he does in a combat zone right now.
Right.
And so there was relief for my mom just in that I was leaving to go to the Marines.
Well, I can imagine it was, having worked as a police officer and saw the other side of that, dealing with the same kids over and over again and talking with their parents over and over again. I saw it quite a bit, so I understand the reason. That's always my question to people when I'm talking to them about their decision to join the military. Some join because of adverse childhood experiences, what we call ACEs, a bad home life. Others, altruism, patriotism, whatever you want to call it, a family history of serving in the military. So that was your decision. Join the military, join the Marine Corps, and start your life, right?
Mm-hmm. I wanted to be a part of something bigger than me, and I knew that I had more to offer this world. It's like, even though I was living in addiction and I was living in chaos, I wasn't happy in my own skin, like, even though those things were there, I still knew that I had more to offer. I had more to give. Like, I don't have to continue to live this way. Even though I chose to continue to live that way, I knew there was something better for me. I didn't know what it was. And so, I joined the Marine Corps. And it was I have a few of the best decisions of my life, and that was one of them.
Yeah. So you joined up at 19, went straight into training. I can imagine it was a little bit of a challenge for your recruiter, though, at some point, right?
I made it as hard for him as I could.
Right. Now, going back to, since we are coming up on the holidays, we're talking about Christmas. How did the Christmases look up until that point? I mean, were you like most people, just, an ordinary Christmas, or was you getting a little bit lit during the holidays?
Yeah, man. So Christmas at home, at my parents' house, was a normal Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Gifts under the tree. My mom would get a real Christmas tree from the Christmas tree farm, a Douglas fir, every year. Be beautifully decorated, right? All of those things. A good meal to follow, all the gifts and all of those things. And so it was a joyous time for probably my parents, my two younger brothers. And it should have been a joyous time for me, right? Like literally there's nothing wrong, in the home. Like there's nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's love, there's gifts, there's gratitude, there's good food. Like there's nothing wrong. The problem was everything was wrong with me.
Right.
Like I was so full of anger, depression, anxiety, fear, like you name it. I was full of it. And it was like you heard the saying, like you can't mix oil and water.
Yes.
So I'm full of all of these negative, very strong negative things, and I'm in an environment that is trying to fill the space with good, positive things, and it wouldn't mix. I was not able to let any of that in. And so even though sobriety was forced on me in a sense of like I didn't drink or use drugs at my parents' house, so we would do Christmas and then I would leave so that I could go do my own thing.
Right.
And so I was not able to let any of that goodness in when it should have been let in. I think there's a lot of families that have loved ones struggling, kind of like hope. Well, maybe this will be the Christmas that things are going to get better. The magic of Christmas.
Yeah.
It's going to get better this holiday. It's going to get better this New Year's. It's going to, oh no, we're going to have a good meal for Thanksgiving, and then we're going to come together, share gratitude, and it's going to get better. Like, things are going to get better over the holidays. It's like, no, not until that person wants them to be better and then takes steps towards making them better do they get better. Like the holidays for the alcoholic and the drug addict, and this is my experience, my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But for the alcoholic and the drug addict, holidays don't bring what they're supposed to, because we're incapable of letting them in. Like if I hate myself, I cannot let love in. I can't. If I hate who I am, I can't let love in. You can love me all you want, but if I don't love myself, I can't let it in.
And you're not going to let it out either. There's no love to give.
How do you even know how to?
Right.
Like if you can't love yourself and begin to love who you are, who you were created to be, how can you even accurately express that to another individual?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do.
If I can't express it to myself, how do I even know what I'm expressing to you is good?
And we spend so much time in that negative cognition, telling ourselves we're worthless, we're no good, we're not going to recover, people will be better off without us. It solidifies, right? And that part of us just almost thrives in the chaos. And we have a tendency to bring about the chaos in those situations, right? And ruin it for everybody else in a lot of ways.
Chaos creators.
Chaos creators, exactly. Of course, you joined the perfect branch for that, right?
Yeah.
And moving
Semper
Fi, there you go. And moving forward in life, we won't spend a lot of time on the military aspect of it, but I'm sure you were deployed for Christmas and was in training and stuff like that during the holidays, right? Was that a little bit different for you?
Yeah. So I joined in November of 2006. Mm-hmm. So my first sober Christmas in a long time was 2006 in boot camp. And it was forced sobriety, right. But it was also forced sobriety that lasted longer than 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It was 3 months. I was in boot camp for 3 months.
Right.
And I thought, the disease of addiction plays so many tricks on the individual's mind. I'm in boot camp for 3 months. I'm not craving alcohol. I'm not shaking. I'm not, I was a full-blown alcoholic up until the day I left to boot camp, like full on. No seizures, no withdrawals, no cravings. A beer would have been nice, but it wasn't, I didn't really think about it that much. What I did think about was having it when I got out. It's almost like the knowing that I was going to get to have it again eliminated the cravings, eliminated the obsession over it, because I knew it was coming soon. And because I was able to go 3 months in boot camp, I didn't think I had a problem. I was like, no, I'm good. I can go 3 months. I don't have a problem.
Right. Got it under control.
And
not
then
an alcoholic.
I went home on leave from boot camp and spent every day drinking and partying. Didn't spend it with my family.
Really?
No. I saw it's super shitty, man, but like my family didn't pick me up from the airport. I had someone else pick me up from the airport. And I had my mom drop me off at the airport. I don't think I spent any time with her.
And how long were you?
I was home for like 10 days, 11 days.
Oh, wow.
I didn't spend any time with her. Essentially shutting out the people that care about me the most so that I can spend time with people that care about me the least.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because being around the people that cared about me the most would have forced the issues that I was facing to come up and surface, and I wasn't ready for them to surface. It's easier to surround yourself with people that don't give a shit. You can hide behind it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, we could spend, hours talking about your military career, all the things that happened during that time. But suffice it to say, Marine Corps, you were in the Battle of Fallujah, correct?
Yeah, we went to, not the Battle of Fallujah, but I served in Fallujah in 2007.
Right.
And then deployed to Ramadi in 2008, 2009 timeframe. And I got out of the Marine Corps in 2010.
Right.
And, we lost, like, my addiction was still full on, like even worse, like every single day, bottles and bottles and bottles, every single day. It was like it was like to the point of no return. And like, I knew that it was at that point. I was okay with that. Life was dark. It was dark. Everything was dark. After our Ramadi deployment, we lost one of our Marines to suicide.
Mm-hmm.
We were there for about a month, and he took his life. And had a memorial service there in Ramadi, and then carried on with the deployment. But like something, and I didn't notice it, and I think a lot of other folks that were there would probably can relate with me a little bit on this, but I didn't notice a change while we were on that deployment. Like I said, you're focused, you're running missions, you're doing your job.
There's no time to think about it.
No time, just like a boot camp. There was no time to think about the obsession.
Mm-hmm.
When we got back from that deployment, it was life like fell apart. And I'm not saying it's because of that, but something happened in me that made things worse. And so my first Christmas in the Marine Corps, I was sober in boot camp. My second Christmas, I was in Fallujah sober. And my third Christmas sober, I was in Ramadi. So it was like only the first 3 sober Christmases in my addiction, and they were forced.
Not exactly what we think about for Christmas and having a good Christmas, a sober Christmas, being in those combat environments like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those were some of the best times of my life. With my brothers serving.
Sure.
Like we decorated a tree with empty packs of Marlboro Reds and Grizzly Wintergreen cans. That's how we decorated the tree. Put a bunch of boxes. People sent us boxes of Orville Red and whatever Bacher's popcorn.
Right.
We put the boxes underneath the Christmas tree, so it looked like there was gifts under there. Like we made the most of it, and we had some non-alcoholic beer too for a holiday party, and that just pissed me off more than anything.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's like, dude, seriously?
That's one thing that I've never tried. It's a slippery slope. Why even go down that route?
That's how I relapsed the first time I got out of treatment.
Really?
My plan was to continue to have non-alcoholic beer so that I can still associate and socialize with the people, because I didn't want to change my people, places, and things. So my plan was non-alcoholic beer, and I don't have to change any of that. That lasted about 72 hours. Okay. And then it got even worse.
Right.
Even worse.
Well, going back to the Marine Corps, you did well in the Marine Corps, right? I mean, you didn't get in any trouble, you didn't get arrested, and you completed your service, 4-year service, and got out, right? What led to your decision to exit the Marine Corps as opposed to staying in for a career?
Yeah, I did. To set the record straight, I did start to get in trouble in the Marine Corps.
Oh.
So they did not want me to re-enlist. I got out with an honorable discharge, but they did not want me to re-enlist. So I was getting in trouble. I was getting in fights out in town. I was getting in fights with the staff NCOs on duty. Like I'm telling you, life was a mess, and I was living it out. The only thing I did good in the Marine Corps was deploy and train. Everything else I did those last 2 years was just drink and create chaos.
Yeah.
And so they didn't want me to re-enlist. I wanted to re-enlist to go to Afghanistan for a third deployment. They told me no. And when they told me no, it was like something in me broke again. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm getting out. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do, but I'm getting out. So I got out November 2010. And I will tell you that holiday, that Christmas, that time of the year was not good.
No?
No. It's even worse.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Addiction continued to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse.
Until you decided to turn and face it. Yeah. So that downward spiral took you down a really dark path, yeah?
Yeah, man. So I could spend hours and hours and hours telling you about little situations, big situations, small situations where there was spiritual experiences that should have changed the trajectory of my life, and I chose not to allow them to change the trajectory of my life. There's so many situations where I think anybody else would have been like, hey, man, you know what? Maybe I should stop doing what I'm doing. This isn't working.
Was there anything that made you think that? Any particular event?
Dude, I was so that winter that I got out of the Marine Corps, I was in a car accident. I was at the VFW. I won't say where, but I was at the VFW, and I was drinking too much, and I went and did some drugs in the truck, and then I took off, and I went driving around. I got rear-ended. So both me and this lady went to the hospital. I didn't know. I told her my truck. She told her her van. I didn't know what happened. I was in a red truck, and Marine Corps red. Well, I had Marine Corps stickers all over the back of it. And long story short, when I finally went to court for this, my attorney found out that the victim, this lady, her son had just got out of the Marine Corps as well and was struggling with PTSD and substance abuse. And she pretty much did everything in her power to beg the judge not to charge me completely for this accident. And so they showed me mercy and grace, and had a little bit of restitution and 6 months of probation. It should have been, they should have locked me up then.
And she rear-ended you.
I pulled out in front of her.
Oh, you pulled out in front of her.
I pulled out in front of her.
So you caused the accident.
I caused the accident. I was intoxicated. They should have sent me to prison for that, and they didn't. And you would think that would be enough to wake somebody up.
Not for you.
No, not for me, man.
You kept going down that road.
It sucks, like, sharing that. Like, it's hard to share that because it's like, it's super painful to know that I could have killed somebody. I could have taken somebody away from somebody. Their kids, like her son was in the Marine Corps. I could have taken a Marine's mom away from him because of the bullshit that I was doing. And that situation wasn't enough to change the trajectory of my life. I went right back to the same booze, the same drugs, the same situations as moments before the accident.
Just kept heading down that path, and I'm assuming more arrests and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Yes. From that point on, life continued to just spiral out of control, continue to get arrested. Alcohol stopped doing it for me as
Right.
well. Like alcohol stopped working. It stopped working a long time before this, but I started to actually feel like, man, I need to step it up.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't working. So I got really, really heavy into drugs, and that started to do it, I thought. And so from like 2011 until 2016, I was like heavy into drug addiction.
Mm-hmm.
My son was born in 2013. And I remember telling myself, I'm going to change now. Now I have a reason to change. Now I'm going to change for my kid. I'm going to change for my kid. I'm going to be the best dad possible. And I genuinely wanted that, genuinely believed that. Like I don't think there was anything more in the world that I wanted than to be a good father to my son.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work.
Can't change for somebody else. You have to do it for you.
Yeah, didn't work.
Yeah.
Didn't work, man. I was back at it the next day. And so that didn't work. So that was 2013, and 2014 was worse. 2015 was worse. They all just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
So what was the turning point? What made you really stop and decide to turn it around?
The court systems have finally had enough of Mr. Odell. Thank God. They finally, look, man, this is just talking my experience. I don't wish anything on anybody except for sobriety. Just from my experience, I needed serious consequences in my life. I was given too much grace.
Mm-hmm.
I was given too much mercy. Just because I served in the military doesn't mean I should get grace when I make a mistake.
Right.
In fact, the standard should be a little bit higher, in my opinion. However, I was given a ton of grace. And so, like I said, I should have went to prison after that accident. That didn't happen. I should have went to prison after the first drug charge. That didn't happen. I should have went to prison after the second drug charge. That didn't happen. Should have went to prison after the fourth DWI. That didn't happen. Mm-hmm. Right? So I was given a lot of grace, and I'm thankful for that. But like I said, man, I needed I needed some pretty severe consequences to change. So I'm sitting in county jail, and the judge wants to send me to prison for 8 years, and for all substance abuse related stuff. And I remember going back to my cell, and I started praying. I was like, God, I'm not a bad person. I know I've made mistakes. It was pretty much like 8 years. It's a little steep, I think, in my opinion. Maybe we could do 3 years.
Hopefully 3 years.
Maybe we could do 3 years. 8 years is a little steep. And I remember praying and just telling God, like, man, I'm done. I'm done. If I could get 3 years in prison, I will be thankful. Mm-hmm. I will change what I'm doing, and I'll never look back. So I go back to court, and the judge offers me 3 years. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time where I actually took ownership of the shit that I had created with a good attitude.
Yeah.
First time I finally felt like I can accept the results that I have received from the life that I had created. Mm-hmm. I can accept these results. I can accomplish the mission, and I can change my life. The mission is go to prison for 3 years and get my shit together.
Yeah.
That was the mission. And I remember calling my dad and letting him know after court, like, hey, man, judge gave me 3 years, so I'm going to prison. Please take care of my son.
Mm-hmm. That was it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then back to the holiday piece, Christmas. So that was the first sober Christmas I had ever had where I actually felt peace.
in a place that's kind of known for chaos in a lot of ways. Prison isn't a nice place, you know?
Prison is full of good people and bad people alike.
Right.
Okay. It's filled with people who have all made mistakes.
Right.
It is dark. It's dirty. It's degrading. It's literally one of the worst places in the United States that you could spend your time.
Yeah.
Unless you're, being homeless on the streets, that's probably worse than prison. But, at least if you're homeless, you got a choice to not be anymore.
True.
When you're in prison, it doesn't matter how hard you choose to be free, you're not. And that was a big piece to it too, man. With like, I knew, like, I signed on 3 years, and I knew that there was an end date to this period in my life. Up until then, like, I didn't know when the end date was, and I tried to end it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to commit suicide.
Yeah.
I wanted to end my life. Tried it with booze. Tried it with drugs. I tried it with a gun. I got so intoxicated I couldn't even do it.
Right.
I was trying to create an end date to my life, and then when I got locked up, I knew that there was an end date to this season.
Mm-hmm.
And all I got to do is I just got to do my time, and I got to do it well, and I got to finish. I gotta finish my commitment that I made with my higher power, that I would do it with joy. It's one thing when I prayed about, like, God, if you give me this 3-year sentence, I will do it, but I'll do it with joy. That was my ask. I didn't ask for it to be easy. I didn't ask for it. I just said that I would, if I could get this, I'll do it, but I'm going to do it with joy. And I had not had joy. So I don't even know why I even said that. It's like I hadn't had joy, like, majority of my life at that point.
Well, every bit of that just says something to the not just to your character, but also to the turmoil that you were living in, right? That you found peace and joy in a prison cell, right? Mm-hmm. That the normal scene that most people would describe as chaos or anticipate as chaos is somewhere that you found the peace that you needed, right?
That was, I was scared too.
Mm-hmm.
I was scared to go to prison. Like, dude.
Well,
watch the movies, man. You've seen Shawshank Redemption, dude? Like,
exactly, right?
I don't want to go to prison. Like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
But something changed in me, man. Something changed in me when I was in jail and I made that commitment. Like I said, that was the first time that I had made any type of commitment that I knew that I was going to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even when I joined the Marine Corps, like, I made a commitment, 4-year commitment to our country, to serve as a United States Marine. And I knew I was going to make it as a Marine, but I didn't know if I was going to make it 4 years.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew I was going to get the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, but I didn't know what happened after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, prison, I knew that I was going to be able to do my 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, I knew it. And then I had another opportunity to change. So I spent the next 2 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the Christmas of 2016 and then the Christmas of 2017 that I spent those 2 holidays. And that entire time I was at peace in prison.
Let me ask you a question. While you were in boot camp, while you were in the Corps and everything else, you mentioned that you were thinking about alcohol the entire time. Was that on your mind this time?
Mm-mm.
No? Weren't even thinking about it?
No. So I went to treatment. I went to a private treatment center in 2011, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's hard to even remember when I went there. It was around that. It was before my son was born. And I remember doing the work, everything that the counselors asked me to do. I did everything, every assignment, everything they wanted me to do. I did it all. And I learned a lot. It was like big book boot camp. All right. Like, I read the whole big book. We were doing assignments out of the big book. I went through all 12 steps in a 28-day program. Like, it was big book boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
I relapsed right after treatment. Non-alcoholic beer is not going to cut it. I relapsed right after treatment. And I didn't, and when that happened, I justified I'm unfixable. Like I went there to prove a point that I'm unfixable.
This program doesn't work. It's not for me.
I'm so unique that there's nothing out there that can fix me.
Terminally unique.
Yeah, that's me. So special.
Right.
So when I relapsed, I used that as a justification to continue down that path at an even quicker rate. Like, nope, I'm uncurable. I tried it and I did all the work. Like I did it all so that I could say, no, it's not that. Because someone will tell you, well, did you do all your assignments? You say no. Well, that's why you relapse.
Yeah.
I left no margin for error there. I did every single assignment.
Checked every box.
Every goodbye letter.
Yeah.
Everything they wanted me to do, I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I still relapsed. So now I'm uncurable.
Right.
Terminally broken, whatever, right? Well, when I went to prison, I started to recall things that I learned in treatment. Like 5 years prior, 6 years prior.
You got nothing to do but think, in a place like that, right?
I sobered up. I started getting clear, and I started to remember the 12 steps. I started to remember the doctor's opinion. I started to remember the assignments that I did, and I started to remember what they said it required of me to be sober. Mm-hmm. And so I started working a program in prison. I was reading my Bible, and I was reading the Big Book, and I was reading any self-help book I could find. Mm-hmm. And that's what I spent my time doing. And then I started sharing my experience with some of the other inmates. And that proved out to be just a super humbling experience. Not only am I in prison, but now there's these prisoners coming to me for guidance. And this whole time I think like, dude, y'all have no freaking clue. Like, yeah, just because this is my first time here, I should have been here 20 years ago, y'all. It's a miracle that I'm not here for 20 years. Mm-hmm. But they're coming to me for guidance, and so I'm just doing what I think is the next best thing, and I'm sharing what I've learned with them. And that 2 years, there's a scripture that says, the Apostle Paul says that there is such thing as a peace that surpasses all understanding. And I'll let everybody else search up the rest of that verse. But just that part, there's a peace that surpasses all understanding. And it finally started to click to me what that meant. It's impossible for me to understand how I could be at such peace in these circumstances. Or how folks back in history were at peace in certain circumstances that they went through, like the freaking POWs. How'd they get through that? How the hell did they survive?
Yeah.
Right? There is a peace that surpasses all understanding, and I experienced that. And that's what prison was like. Were people fighting? Yes. Were people getting raped? Yes. Yeah. Were people smuggling stuff into the prison? Yes. Did I almost get jumped by a gang? Yes. Like, it sucked, but none of that took away my peace. That's when I knew that I had something that nobody could ever take from me.
Yeah. God had some plans for you, and he needed to get your attention, and that was the perfect place to do it. And you started making better decisions. And one of the things you said before, I know you said before, was you said recovery wasn't one moment, but thousands of decisions. And that was some of the first decisions that really made you change, right? To be available to the other prisoners that were there. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to quote scripture, but Paul spent some time in prison as well, did he not?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think he knew what he was talking about as well, right? So you get through prison. What happens after prison?
Well, first thing, before what happens after prison is what happens when I find out that I'm going home.
Okay.
So you had asked me, you said, were you thinking about the obsession? Nope.
Not at all.
Not until I found out I was going home.
That's when it kicked in.
2 years later.
Wow.
For 2 years, I had no cravings, no obsession. Like I was all in. I was diving into self-help books, a big book, 12 steps, talking to people, mentoring people, teaching Bible studies. I was doing all kinds of stuff in prison, man.
Now, in a lot of prisons, there's still opportunity for drugs, for alcohol, for stuff like that. Any of that ever cross your mind? Did it ever
man,
cross your plate?
they were making hooch and smoking spice, and I saw this
Mhm.
one guy die in our dorm. He smoked some spice. It was so hot in the dorm, he died. He was like 110 degrees in our unit, and he smoked some spice, and he died on his bed. He was there for like 4 hours before the medical came and got him.
Oh,
People were still doing their stuff, but I didn't want to.
Mhm.
Maybe I was scared. I didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
But when I found out that I was going home,
Yeah.
it came back. So this December, it's the holiday, Christmas gift. I can't remember. It was like December 17th, something like that. And I find out that, hey, pack your shit. You're getting on the bus. You're getting out of here. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be home for Christmas. It's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. My son, I couldn't wait to see my son, hold my son. When he came to visit me one time, I didn't have a phone privileges in prison, but my parents brought him to visit me, and we had prison whites on,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a contact visit. And so I got to hold him and talk to him, and he was eating some hot Cheetos.
How old was he?
3 years old,
Okay.
4 years old. He was eating some, maybe they were just regular Cheetos. He was eating Cheetos,
Mm-hmm.
and he had the cheese all over his fingers. Well, he gave me a hug goodbye, and his handprints were left on the back of my prison white shirt. And I didn't know it until I got back to my dorm, and I took it off, and I folded it, and I saw my son's fingerprints on the back of my shirt, on the back of my uniform. And I folded it up, and I tucked it underneath my mattress, and I held on to that as like hope. And so then I find out that I'm going home, and I give all my stuff away. Everything, everything, my shower shoes, like I give everything away. And then I get on the bus, and it's like you get chained to another human being. You don't get to just like ride the bus. It's not the school bus. The Bluebird is what we called it. You get chained to another human being. You're chained to a man. You're chained down here. If you got to go to the bathroom, by the way, you got to get up and go use the bathroom with your chain mate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was a horrible trip. Anyway, so I'm excited to go home, and I get to Huntsville unit. First Connolly unit, and then McConnell, and then we got to Huntsville. Well, they called me out, and I went and I got my clothes, got my paperwork, everything to get out processed. Everybody else got to leave except for me. They took their clothes back, took their paperwork back, gave me my prison whites back, and walked me back to a cell. I didn't know what was happening. So then I started like getting into doubt, fear, anger, all these things that I didn't experience for these 2 years start coming back. And I have no answers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm supposed to be home for Christmas. What the hell is going on? And another month goes by, man. I'm floating around the TDCJ in Texas.
Another month goes around.
Another month.
So you're transported to a place where you're supposed to be getting out, and they pull you right back in.
Pull me right back in for another month.
Another month. Why?
So why is things were just the in-home monitor GPS system wasn't hooked up at the house for where I was paroling to. So, but they didn't tell me that. So I'm back in prison for another month, floating around from unit to unit to unit to unit to unit, all over the place, and angry.
I can imagine.
Like angry at everything, and come to find out, that's what it was. A month later, I got released. But that's when it hit me. I'm not cured.
Yeah.
I felt cured. First 2 years in prison, I felt healed.
Mm-hmm.
And then that one situation happened, and it all came back. I was ready to tear down the world.
Yeah.
And so then it was like a little humility check, like, okay, all right. So what? I didn't get to go home for Christmas. It's not the first one I missed.
Right.
But I'm not cured. I have work to do.
Yeah.
And so I'm so thankful for that experience, because had I have just walked out those gates high on life thinking I was freaking cured, what the hell would have happened then?
Oh, it'd have been bad.
I was not ready to work a program when I got out of prison.
Right. Because the relapse had already started. You know, those that know relapse, those that know sobriety know that the relapse starts in the mind, and you were already there.
Mm-hmm.
So that 1 month was probably exactly what you needed to prevent that, right?
100%. I needed to experience anger again.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to experience frustration, anxiety. I needed all those things to come back, man. Because like the reality is what is sobriety if you can't handle those types of emotions? You know what I mean? You got to be able to handle those emotions without turning into the bottle.
Emotional sobriety.
The holidays bring that shit up.
Yeah.
The holidays bring it up. That's what people think they want to get sober for the holidays. Like, dude, you can't even stay sober outside of the holidays. Like the holidays do not bring the alcoholic and the drug addict any hope. Like they don't. They didn't bring me any hope. Christmas didn't bring me hope at all. In fact, it gave me a reason to run.
Yeah.
I'm going to go put on my mask, go show everybody I'm doing great, and then I'm going to leave, take my mask off, and suffer.
And be the same person you were before.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Didn't change me. It's because they don't change anybody. The only way for someone like me to make a holiday better for people I care about, including myself, is for me to change.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way. Holidays don't change people. People change holidays.
Right.
And for a majority of my life, I changed holidays in a direction I didn't want to change them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It doesn't matter. Like kids, they want your presents, meaning this presents.
Mm-hmm.
That's what kids want. They want this.
And want you there.
They want to be able to grab your face, and hold you.
Yeah.
Like, Dad, Mom, look at me. I'm here. Talk to me. Play with me. That's what kids want. That's what changes holidays.
Right.
When you can do that with your family sober, changes everything.
Yeah. But many people feel that, and if it overwhelms them, what would you say to somebody that's feeling overwhelmed by that notion?
And joy, peace, kindness, goodness, all those things are overwhelming to someone who is oil and incapable of letting water in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So anything like that gets overwhelming. You tell somebody who's in it, hey, there's hope. That's overwhelming. Like, what do you mean there's hope? Like, no, I don't want hope. I don't want hope. I had hope. Hope is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want any hope. I don't want to experience anything else because I'm done feeling. What you're telling me is there's hope for me to be sober and start to feel things again. My whole life, all I've ever felt is pain.
Yeah.
Why would I want to feel that again? Like, so yeah, that does get overwhelming. But since I've been out of prison, I've been at Warrior's Heart since 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of the 2 Christmases that my son hopefully doesn't remember, but probably has some lifeline moments to work through when he gets older, he's never seen me intoxicated or high.
Mm.
My daughter, who was born when I was in prison, has never experienced Dad intoxicated or high.
Yeah.
And so being able to change all of those moments and every moment after that for one season of like missing a holiday for treatment, or, you know, even hell, if you get locked up, like, dude, go do your time. Like, it's going to be okay. Like, whatever you got to do to separate yourself from that environment, that substance, do it. Because the 2 years that I spent in prison, I would do 3 years, 4 years if I knew that the results afterward were going to be like they are now.
Yeah.
I would do 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like having one good, like this Christmas coming up, it's going to be a great Christmas. Having one good Christmas to look forward to, knowing that it's going to be good, knowing that I'm going to be sober, knowing that my kids are going to have joy, knowing that I'm going to be present for them. Like, dude, I would have stayed in prison from 2016 until this summer to know that that's what it was going to be like.
Absolutely, because it's worth it. You know, it's worth the joy that you get when you do it sober. And there's a lot of people, we talk about this in the office all the time, you know, when we do training and everything, there's a lot of people this time of year that don't want to make the commitment to go to treatment because they don't want to miss it on the holidays. They're looking at it from their standpoint, right? I don't want to miss out on the holidays, but what are you really missing out on? And what gift could you give your family? right? You could give them the gift of peace and joy. You know, yeah, it's when you're not there, you know, because you're in treatment, you're doing something else, and that kind of hurts a little bit, but you know that they're going to be experiencing a little bit of peace and joy themselves, you know, without you there, right? But you're working on yourself, you're getting yourself better. Was it worth the trade-off, do you think?
Yeah, man. You know, I'm very close to my mom. I love my family. I'm close with my dad now too. He's a great dude. The 2 years that I was in prison, my mom stopped having to pray for my safety.
That's huge. Yeah.
She shared that with me. So I'm writing a book, and part of that book, I asked my mom to write a page or two of her perspective of how life was with me. And when she wrote it, she shared that with me in story form, that when I went to prison, she finally stopped having to pray for my safety.
Yeah.
It's like this whole, for the last 15 plus years, every night you've been praying for my safety. And now that I'm in prison, you can just pray for my well-being, pray for my health, pray for, you know, peace or whatever, but you don't have to pray for my safety anymore because you knew where I was at. Like, finally you knew where I was at night and that I wasn't dead.
And that somebody at least was watching over you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So would I trade it? Yeah. Dude, if you are struggling and you have an opportunity, regardless of what time of the year it is, to go get help, you literally give a gift to your loved ones of peace that they probably haven't experienced in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Addiction doesn't come up on you like one day life's great and tomorrow you're addicted and need to go to a treatment center. When you need to go to a treatment center, your life is already falling apart, most likely. Maybe it's not, but I guarantee you, if your life's not falling apart, your relationships are, because you're not present with your family.
Right.
You can't be present with your family if you're drunk, because if you're drunk, you're not present.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you're there. So if you're struggling and you leave to go get help, you give a gift of peace. They know where you're at. They know that you're safe, and they know that you're trying your best to get your shit together. There's no better gift than that. Because if you do those things and you do what's asked of you, the program works. I mean, look at us.
Yeah.
And the other 3,600 alumni that have come through our program here at Warriors Heart.
Absolutely.
The program works if you're willing to do the steps and follow what you're told. It works when you work it. When you do that, you give one of the greatest gifts your family and loved ones could ever ask for.
Yeah. I was in treatment during the holidays. I was in sober living. You know, I technically, I guess I could have went home, but for whatever reason, I wasn't able to. So I was in sober living during Christmas. Was a little bit sad because of it? Yeah, I was. But I knew my family was okay. I knew they were having a good holiday. Not every time during the holiday when I'd be drinking that I would go off, but there was always that potential. And that's what put everybody on edge, right? That's what made everybody tense during the holidays. But I wasn't there for 2020. But the holidays since then, the Christmases since then have been so much better. Now, you share a lot about your family around the office, and you were sharing a story about your daughter this morning. That was great, you know, talking about the elf on the shelf thing this morning. And just that little bit of joy is worth every bit of the pain that you went through, because it makes it that much sweeter. It makes it that much more meaningful and that more solid, I think, right? Yeah, that's huge, man. That's huge. And how many of us have missed a holiday because we had to work shift, or because we were deployed, or because we were in training? Life still carried on, and you still knew that you had more coming. A lot of people think this is their last one for whatever reason. They don't want to miss it. There's going to be more, and the rest of them are going to be that much better.
You know, you just said something. A lot of people think it's their last one. There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
When you're struggling with alcohol and drug addiction, today could be the last day. In fact, some of us are using and drinking to make it our last day. even though maybe we don't really want that. Like we're trying, we're gunning for it. We're going for it, and like, yeah, this might be your last one, but it doesn't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there's some truth to it. Like, yeah, this could be your last freaking holiday if you don't stop. So how about you stop and have plenty more? How about that as a result?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be your last one.
Exactly. Now, a lot of times we spend our time talking to the warrior themselves, but we also talk to the family when we're having these conversations, when we're doing these podcasts, when we're doing these things, we're talking to the family as well. I didn't want my family to call me out on my behavior and tell me I needed to get help. But at the same time, that was exactly what I needed. And as soon as they did, the fight was gone and I was ready to get some help. Mm-hmm. It was a bitter process, but I was ready to get help. What would you say to a family member that's watching this right now?
So a lot of times I've heard this over and over is family members will be supportive because they're afraid of the outcome. They'll be supportive of someone waiting to get help or, because we don't have a family together because we don't trust each other. At some point there was trust. At some point there was love. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we want to believe in our people. So when they say things like, we want to buy into it and say like, oh, yeah, no, that's fine. That'll work. Like if somebody is struggling with alcohol or drug addiction, and then to add on unprocessed trauma into that mess. And again, it doesn't matter what came first, like unprocessed trauma and then addiction, or addiction and then it does not freaking matter. Mm-hmm. But when you add all those things together, you get a concoction that creates chaos until the person gets help. Yeah. There's no holiday that's going to fix it. There's no special day. The special day is today. And so to the loved ones that might be experiencing a little bit of this, like you gotta, if you're gonna wait till after the holidays, then just wait till after the holidays, but know that it ain't gonna get better.
No. So
what you're doing is you're accepting whatever chaotic results you're gonna get. And if you're willing to accept that, then fine. But you have to acknowledge that. Like if you're not willing to accept those results, then encourage your loved one to go get some help because it's not going to change until they do.
Right. In a lot of ways, we call it co-signing their bullshit, right? We're buying into it. We're trying to make it easy on them in a lot of ways, but we're not doing them any favors.
Like I told you, I was giving too much grace and mercy.
Yeah. Give an inch, take a mile, right? If somebody gives me that much slack, I'm going to run with it. I really am. Holding them accountable is in the right way, obviously, is the thing to do. And the last time we had a podcast, we talked about having options ready, right? If you want to present somebody with, hey, you need to get some help, you need to get some treatment, here's the place to go. Reach out to us, warriorsheart.com. The phone number to reach admissions, 866-955-4035. Pick up the phone, give us a call. We'll talk you through the process, whether you're the warrior who needs to come in or the family member who is looking for help for your loved one. Give us a call. We'll do what we can to help you get in and to get that process of healing started. And Christmas or not, the time is now.
Yeah.
Time is now. And that is a wonderful gift that you can give your family. Sobriety, peace, hope. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any final thoughts?
I like to share this a lot, and it's for the struggling warrior and the struggling family member, for the struggling individual. You're batting 100, meaning you've made it through. If you're hearing this, you've made it through 100% of the worst, shittiest, hardest, most traumatic days of your life. And so the time is now. You don't have to go through another one alone. You've made it through 100% of them. That means you'll make it through this too. Yeah. If you're willing to reach out for help, there's an end to it, and it can be good.
Right. And that quote or the verse, Jeremiah 29:11, I'm sure you can quote it much better than I can, but God knows the plans he has for us, right? Yep. And you're a testament to that. You really are. the lives that you have changed since you made that decision to get sober and become a better person has just been unreal, you know? And I can relate to that personally because when I picked up the phone and finally made the call, you were the guy that answered, right? So I'm grateful that you're here. I'm grateful that you made that decision. And for other people out there that think that they have no purpose left, that they have no mission left, oh, it ain't over yet. Your mission is not over. And yours keeps going. Yours was much bigger than the Marine Corps. And look at what you're doing now, right? It's huge. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
'Cause the first thing that they said was welcome home.